All right, so, can you tell me what's your occupation?
I'm a technician with cable vision, an engineering technician.
Oh, wow, that's really good. So, you live in New York, you probably lived here your entire life. Why don't you tell us how you think the city has changed, or what do you see the changes in the city since the economic downturn?
Wow, it's a big change. I see a lot of non-working people. Some crime has gone up because of no work. People are resorting to drastic measures to survive.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of people that don't see that. Those who are in charge of the funding, and they don't come to the inner city and see these things. They just want to cut and cut. But there's a lot of people struggling, trying to live day by day, making decisions whether to feed their kids or pay their rent.
Okay, so tell us your occupation.
I am a residential manager for intellectual and developmentally disabled adults. That's really hoity-toity, isn't it?
Excuse me. Oh.
Fabulous.
Well, please, I'm going around asking people about their perspectives on how New York has changed since the economic downturn. Just want to hear your thoughts and your philosophies and everything.
Well, that's a really good question. My perspective on the whole New York and all that's going on since economical downfall. It's a downfall because the rich are coming in and the poor are getting the hell out because they can't afford it, and then basically trying to make New York a very expensive place to live. And I'm not going anywhere, so you're not taking me anywhere, you're not kicking me out. I will get a piece of the pie, and F Michael Bloomberg. Really not into his whole thing. I will be a part of that elite that lives in New York. I don't think it's right, but I know it's business and not personal.
Okay, so tell us your occupation.
I'm an executive assistant, and I run a not-for-profit foundation.
Nice. So, I'm going around asking people, how they think New York has changed since the economic downturn. I just want to hear some opinions, some thoughts, philosophies, just about life in general in New York now.
I think people's behavior toward one another has gotten a little bit more real. People aren't necessarily, like after 9/11, people were really polite to one another, and I think we're almost getting back to normal.
Can you elaborate just a little bit more, because the realism and the normal of it?
So I think in before 9/11, people went about their business and they weren't so aware of the feelings of others. They were more aware of, they minded their own business a little bit more. And now I think people are back to that. I think people were not as polite, and I don't find that to be a bad thing.
Yeah, definitely. The world is a little it's cuckoo out here.
And so now I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to stay. I'm going to make this happen, and that's basically what I'm going to do.
Do you feel like the government actually cares about what's going on for the native New Yorkers, like how it's really affecting them?
I don't think the government cares about the native New Yorkers because it's a business, and they're into making money, and anything that can line their pockets, they'll do. So they're not really concerned about us who were born and raised here, unless you have money to stay here. You have to keep up. But then again, they're not giving out salaries that are competitive enough for you to live here. But I think you have to, in the famous words of Malcolm X, by any means necessary, take it.
Listen carefully to the language that I speak. You'll see my mind is a rebel. My mind is a rebel. And if you ever take the chance, try and understand the inner man. My mind is a rebel. My mind is a rebel.
I would like those who make decisions and who don't have to worry about eating every day, or are they going to get medical coverage, or where they going to live. I would like those folks to come down in the neighborhoods that they're cutting out of and live for a week, a week in these people's shoes and see what their outcome, their perspective would be on the things that they're cutting. It's easy to sit back when you have it all and make decisions on people that have nothing than to be in their position and looking the other way. There's always those who have who want to make decisions for people that don't have. They need to come into a neighborhood and stay for a week in one of these families' homes and see their everyday struggle. Don't tell me you know, because you don't know unless you've been there. And a lot of these folks, if you've been there and you got to the top, you forget where you came from. That's enough. I don't want to say no more.